Hey guys, welcome back. We're ready for lesson 4 for DGP. I'm actually making this video early. I'm actually making it right after my lesson 3 video, so you'll see me in the same clothes. And I actually don't know the winner as I'm making this video for lesson 3, but it should be on the blog. So congratulations to whoever did that. Remember, this is just optional. You don't have to participate with me, even though I love hanging out with you and I miss you guys very much. You don't have to turn anything in unless you want to participate in the secret word challenge. If you're going to do the secret word challenge, you've got to make sure that you have your sentence, this week's sentence, written out 4 or 5 times, and you complete the whole week with me and you listen for that secret word and write the word down. So the first step is to complete your week with me. The second word is to write down the sentence that I say the secret word in. Okay, so if you're wanting to do that, come along with me. So I appreciate you guys very much. This week's word, this lesson's word is fan. I wrote on the last one, fan. Okay, so listen for me to say that. So we're going to start with day 1, which is our parts of speech. We don't have a long sentence here. It looks like just one little thought here. So it says, yuck, Mark eats hot dogs for breakfast. So the first day, we look for our parts of speech. So let's find our subject. No, Miss Konas, not our subject, our noun. Our noun. So we think, what does a noun, what do we look for when we're looking for a noun? We're looking for a person, place, or thing. So I go through each word and my tiny eyes see 3 nouns. Can you find those nouns? Person, place, or thing. If you're unsure of nouns still, you go through each word and you say, are you a person? Are you a place? Are you a thing? First one is the word mark. Now we have to decide if it's a common noun or proper noun. Mark is a name, so we would capitalize him. So we're going to capitalize that with our N as well. Okay? Do you see the other nouns? Yuck, Mark eats hot dogs for breakfast. I see something else. Another thing would be hot dogs. It is actually just a common noun, so we're going to put a lowercase n. Okay? And the last one my tiny eyes see is breakfast. Okay, that's a thing. That's something we participate in. It's something. Okay? So the next thing we need to find is our verbs. Okay, do we have 1 verb, 2 verb? What type of verb is it? And is it past, present, or future? Yuck, Mark eats hot dogs for breakfast. So what is happening in our sentence? Somebody's eating, okay? Somebody's eating hot dogs for breakfast. I'm not a fan of hot dogs at all for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but I love biscuits or pancakes or something like that. But Mark is eating, so that's our verb. Okay, now what type of verb is it? Action, helping, or linking? Well, the word eats is not in our helping verb, linking verb wrap. It's something we do, so it's an action. Past, present, or future. There's actually a clue on the word eats to tell you. It is actually the letter S here tells me it's happening. It happens. Didn't happen yesterday, didn't happen tomorrow. It's happening a lot. So it is present. Okay? If I'm going too fast, remember to pause the video to catch up. On day 1 DGP, we always label each word. So we have a couple other ones. Let's try this guy. Yuck, Mark eats hot dogs for breakfast. Sounds like a phrase. Yuck, Mark eats hot dogs. Okay, it's kind of modifying the rest of the sentence. It's one word that we have to memorize. It actually is a preposition. Doesn't really show me a position of things except when he's eating something. It's a position in space and time, I guess, but it's for breakfast. So this is a prepositional phrase. And you can be proactive and think ahead to day 2's sentence. If we have a preposition, we have a prepositional phrase. Okay, so we have 1 word left. What is this word? Yuck. Mark eats hot dogs for breakfast. Now, it's not really part of the whole sentence here. It's It's not a noun, it's not a verb, it's just kind of like an exclamation. Yuck! What do we call that? Sometimes you might say, yes, no homework, or no, it's raining, or ouch, that hurt. What are these words that come at the beginning that show extra emotion? Do you know? Maybe you have seen a Schoolhouse Rock video of it. They're called interjections. Interjections. Have you heard that? Interjection. So we label it I-N-T. Interjection. Okay? Interjection. All right, so let's go ahead to day 2. So day 2 is pretty simple, where we're trying to figure out subject, predicate, complement, prepositional phrases, all the parts of the sentence. So who or what is the sentence about? That's our subject. It's about Mark and his disgusting habit. Look. So this is our subject. And what does Mark do is our simple predicate. You've already labeled it for Monday or day 1, which is verb. Mark eats. Now we have a sentence there if we didn't have any other words in our sentence. Mark eats. Now it's not a very good sentence, so we need to know what Mark eats. It would help if we knew when or where he eats. So we can go ahead and draw our Kung Fu chop line between our subject and predicate in this type of sentence when it's just stating something, okay? So Mark eats. Here's our Kung Fu chop line. Hi-ya! Go ahead and draw yours. Make your hi-ya. Hi-ya! All right. Now we underline our complete predicate once. Rewind. Complete subject once, complete predicate twice. Complete subject is all the words in the subject area. Now, is this word yuck part of the subject? Is it part of the predicate? No, he kind of stands alone. So all we're going to do for our complete subject is underline Mark. Okay? Our complete predicate includes the verb all the way to the end of the thought or the end of the sentence. In this case, eats hot dogs for breakfast. Okay? Now, kind of got a little loppy J there. All right, so we have a preposition. That means we have a prepositional phrase. So our preposition was the word for. So I start my parentheses there, and it ends after the first noun you come to. What is the noun or the object in the phrase? Breakfast. So we're going to close our parentheses, and you said it. Say the word breakfast. That is our object for what? That thing, breakfast. So we label it OP. Remember, objects are nouns. So we have this guy left. So it's not in the prepositional phrase, and it helps us understand more about our sentence. So could it be a complement? Well, let's check. It's not in the prepositional phrase, first thing. And now we can say Mark eats what? Subject, predicate, what? Mark eats, does it work? Mark eats hot dogs. Yes, it's a complement. So we're going to label it C-O-M. Okay? All right. So now, let's go ahead to day 3 and 4. Okay, so day 3 and 4. Day 3, we figure out the type of sentence and the sentence purpose. And day 4, we do the punctuation and capitalization. I want you to pay real close attention because we have a new thing, the word yuck, and it's going to require some different things to do with our capitalization punctuation. So pay real close attention to that. All right, you got your paper ready and your pencil ready? All right, what type of sentence is this, simple or compound? Think about your thinking. Ask yourself some questions. That's what we call metacognition. Think about your thinking. What is this sentence expressing? What is this sentence? How many things is this sentence talking about? Those are what we're looking for sentence type and sentence purpose. So simple or compound? Yeah, Mark eats hot dogs for breakfast. How many thoughts do we have here? We just have one thought. So it is a simple sentence. Okay, now our our purpose, declarative, interrogative, exclamatory, or imperative. Yuck, Mark eats hot dogs for breakfast. Is it asking a question? Is it commanding something? No. Is it just stating something? Yeah, it is. So it could be declarative. But with the word yuck, we're showing extra emotion. So I'm going to say that this is an exclamatory sentence. EXC, exclamatory. So when I'm ready to punctuate, which is in just a second, my punctuation has to match what I labeled the sentence as. Here we go. So let's go ahead and look at our capitalization. My eyes spy two things we need to capitalize. My eyes also spy two things we need to punctuate. Okay? Yuck, Mark eats hot dogs for breakfast. So let's start with what we know. We know that a proper noun has to be capitalized. So the word Mark has to be capitalized. Always and forever, you capitalize a proper noun. We also know that the beginning of a sentence needs to be capitalized. Then we also know at the end of the sentence we have to punctuate. Always, always, always. And we're going to do it how? As an exclamation mark, because we called it an exclamatory sentence. Right. Good job. Good job. So there's one more thing. Do you know what it is? It has to do with that interjection. Yuck, Mark eats hot dogs for breakfast. There's got to be something here to separate it because it doesn't go along with our subject here. And it's showing that extra emotion. What can we put there to show that extra emotion? If you thought or you said exclamation mark, you're correct. We set those interjection off with another punctuation mark. Yuck, Mark eats hot dogs for breakfast. Now, I want you to understand that if you had a different sentence, let's say, for example, we said, yes. We could say, yes, she did it. In this case, yes, she did it. Not extra motion. What we'd have to do is put a comma here. Yes, she did it. You could do that. Or if you wanted to give it extra motion and we made it an exclamation mark, what do we have to do to the word she? We have to capitalize the word she. So there's a little bit of extra things you need to do when you have an interjection. All right, are you ready to diagram, my friends? Let's do it. Let's do it. So we're going to draw our baseline. Go ahead and draw your baseline. We go ahead and draw our Kung Fu chop line. And on the left side, we always put our subject. On the right side, we always put our verb. Who is the subject of our sentence? So look back at your paper. Before you write anything down, go back to day 2. What did you label as your simple subject? You should have labeled Mark. So we're going to put Mark here. Mark. Okay, now what did Mark do? Or what does he do? He eats. That's our verb. So what we're doing here, if you're always confused about diagramming, don't be confused. It's lickety-split. You guys just use the information that you've already figured out. You already know your subject. You already know your predicate. It's just plugging it in the right spot. Okay? Now remember, when we use them here, we can't use them again. So I'm going to cross out Mark and I'm going to cross out eats. Mark eats what? Now for a compliment, we have to draw a line down, a vertical line down that doesn't cross the baseline. And I'm going to extend my baseline out just a minute. Mark eats what? Hot dogs. Now remember, when you read across the baseline, it should make sense. And in this case, when you read across, I always think of it as a newspaper headline. Extra, extra, read all about it. Mark eats hot dogs. It's like a newspaper headline, and it should give you the gist of information. Now, it doesn't need to tell us when, where, how. It just tells us what's happening there. Mark eats hot dogs. Gross, okay? All right, so we use hot dogs. For breakfast. When does he eat it? Well, it's for breakfast. So we have a preposition and an object. We know prepositions go on a diagonal line, and we have the object on the flat line. So we have the word for, and we say, for what? For breakfast. Very good. Mark those off, mark those off. So the only word we haven't looked at is the word yuck. What do we do with that guy? Well, he's a little different, and he has a different line. What we do is we draw a line above the sentence. Don't ask me why, I don't know, but that's where it goes, okay? And we put the word yuck because he's not part of that sentence. He is giving just emotion to this. He's interjecting something. So he's just there hanging out. Yuck. Mark eats hot dogs for breakfast. And we are done. Love you guys. See you later.